Hey, this is Ryan from Rocket SaaS, and you're listening to the SaaS Marketing Weekly podcast, the show that gives you actionable marketing strategies and campaign ideas to rocket your SaaS business. And if you want even more SaaS marketing ideas, go to saasmarketingweekly.com to join my free newsletter. Hello and welcome to another episode of SaaS Marketing Weekly with me, your host Ryan, the founder of Rocket SaaS. Today, we're going to be talking about how to go from zero to £100,000 in monthly recurring revenue. The reason I can make that episode and I can be an expert on that topic is because my agency have recently achieved that milestone. So I've tried to boil it down to 5 main reasons why Rocket SaaS have scaled to 100K MRR. So today I'm going to go through all of those 5 methods, strategies and marketing tactics that I've used to scale the business to that level to hopefully inspire you and give you some ideas on how you can go along the same journey. If your business has already achieved that amazing milestone, then keep listening. You might get some ideas to help you go to the next level. But before I go into those top 5 things, I wanted to say that it is an incredibly proud moment for me personally. I remember starting this business in my flat share in London. I think I had about 900 quid in the bank. I took a real risk. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to quit my job. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to start my own business. And I remember landing my first client and they were paying me 300 quid to make their website. And I remember jumping around my bedroom like, yes, £300 to make a website. Come on. And now skip forward. We're doing 100K monthly recurring revenue. We're one of the leading SaaS marketing agencies in the world, and we are on this amazing journey. So it's been a brilliant milestone for both me and all of the team here at Rocket SaaS. But now I'm going to share with you the 5 top reasons as to why I think we've hit that scale. So the first one is demand generation / content marketing. So demand generation, kind of difficult to describe. Lots of people describe it in different ways. But one of the best ways to think about it is that 95% of your potential buyers are not in the buying mindset right now. Only 5% of your audience are actually Googling, having meetings about who they want to work with. So if you're not doing demand generation, if you're doing standard like lead generation, creating ads saying, oh, book a demo, book a sales call, we're a great product, here's some case studies about how good we are. If you're only creating that type of content, then you're only targeting 5% of the audience. And that 5% are shopping around. So it's very challenging to scale a business if you're only going after a very small, very competitive slice. Whereas demand generation is all about going after that 95% of your target audience who are not yet immediately looking to buy right now, but they will be at some point in the not too distant future. So you do that by creating educational thought leadership content, not overly sales content, just helping people achieve their goals, which is obviously similar to the services that you offer, and spreading your marketing as far as possible using multiple different channels. So people consume your content, they begin to know you, like you, trust you. And then when they've engaged with enough of your content and they are now ready to buy, which could be months after they've first seen your original piece of content, they know exactly who to come to and they won't shop around either. So to give you an example of us and Rocket SaaS and how we have done that, we've identified that our target audience is small SaaS companies. So SaaS startups or SaaS scale-ups, and their number one burning problem is how do I get more SaaS leads? So over the last 2 years, we've had a big focus around creating content that teaches people how to solve that problem. And I don't just mean content that says, hire Rocket SaaS. I mean content that people can consume and then integrate it into their business themselves without having to jump on a call with us. It's just helpful tips, advice, and guidance about how they can do it themselves. So we've created a series of blog articles, webinars, these podcast episodes like you're listening to now, lots of active LinkedIn content, particularly from my personal brand as opposed to the company page, because company pages get very little engagement on LinkedIn. Videos for social media, YouTube channel, and also my email newsletter. So all of those things are financially free for you to sign up to or consume that content. And we try not to gate any of it. Some of it you have to gate, like webinars, but most of it, like ebooks, another one that I didn't mention, obviously blog articles, newsletters, totally free for you to sign up to. And we ungate as much as possible. And then we distribute that content with ads, Google ads, LinkedIn ads, Meta ads, just to get us out there as far and as wide as possible. So people consume that content and they think, wow, Rocket SaaS are the real experts at that. When I raise funding or when my business grows and I'd rather pay somebody to solve these problems as opposed to me doing it myself, I know exactly who to go to. And that's what's happening here with Rocket SaaS. That's how the growth is happening. Every single time I jump on a sales call with someone, it's very hard for me to attribute exactly where they've come from. With lead generation, you have exact attribution. You say, right, this lead came from a LinkedIn ad, this lead came from a Google ad, this lead came from SEO. Whereas with demand generation, it's actually very hard to attribute that, because when I jump on sales calls with people, I say, okay, how did you hear about us? The data says that you Googled our name. And they say, oh yeah, I've heard of you guys like 6 months ago. I've been following you on LinkedIn for months. I think I attended one of your webinars maybe like 8 months ago or something. So I've always known you. I've always liked you. We've just raised funding, so I thought I'd message you guys and get in touch with you. So that is classic demand generation. Take that lead, for example. If I didn't create the blogs and the guides and the webinars and the videos and the YouTube and the podcast for that person to consume, if I'd only just tried to target that person saying, work with us, we're a great marketing agency, it would have gone on deaf ears because they weren't ready to buy. Whereas creating a ton of this educational, helpful content meant that they consumed our content. They didn't need to fill out any forms. We didn't know who they were, but they came to us when they were ready, because that is how most people buy. It's very hard to push someone to buy something when they're not ready. You can get very talented, pushy salespeople that can do that, but that's not how people buy. People want to consume your content, look into you, and come to you when they are ready. That's a natural buying process. So demand generation is about getting that content out there everywhere and letting people come to you when they are ready. That's exactly what's happening with Rocket SaaS. So that has been the big one, is demand generation. The second biggest thing that's really helped us scale is retargeting ads. So retargeting ads helps fuel the demand generation content that we're creating. But a subset of demand generation is the ads. It's how you get that content out there. And particularly retargeting ads is working incredibly well. I know that it's working really well because of the sales calls that I'm having with people. And they often say the very same thing at the start of the first sales call. They say things like, I see you guys everywhere. I had to get in touch. I see you on my LinkedIn, my Instagram, my Facebook, email newsletter, podcast. You're just everywhere. And I'm looking for a marketer to get us everywhere. So if you guys are everywhere, you must be good at it. So if you're not familiar with retargeting ads, it's when somebody comes onto your website, or maybe they click on one of your ads or comment on an ad or like an ad, and you take that pool of people that have engaged with the first set of ads, and then you put them into the funnel so that they see a second set of ads. And when they engage with those, they then see a third set of ads. So to give you a quick example, rather than the first ad that we show to a cold audience, it's not about Rocket SaaS and we're a great agency, hire us. Instead, we're creating problem-aware ads. So we're creating that helpful demand generation content. How do you get more SaaS leads? Here's an article to help you. Here's a guide. Here's a free webinar. Here's a free video. We promote that with ads. It's not salesy at all. It's free, trying to help you, educate you. So those are the sorts of ads that get lots of engagement because they're not salesy. But we know that everybody that's engaging with those ads is interested in solving the problem of how do I get more SaaS leads. Then we create the second layer of the retargeting ads, which is introducing Rocket SaaS to them and our services. So we say we're a SaaS marketing agency. If you don't have a marketing department, you can hire us to become your marketing department. We cost the same as you hiring an in-house marketer. And we know we're only showing our ads to people that are interested in solving the problem. So it's highly targeted. And then anybody that engages with those ads or comes onto our website again, we then start to show them ads showing our case studies, testimonials. Those work really, really well. And once you've engaged with those ads, then you start getting invited to a free strategy call. So you create this funnel all done via ads. And that's been incredibly powerful for us. And we don't just use LinkedIn ads. A lot of B2B companies only use LinkedIn ads. We use Meta ads as well. And that is powerful. And it's a lot more cost effective. I know a lot of people that say that, oh no, B2B companies, I wouldn't use Meta ads at all. I do massively disagree with that. I think I did another podcast episode a while ago about that exact topic of advertising on Meta ads. It's been really great for us, particularly for retargeting. I can understand why people don't want to advertise to a cold audience on Meta because you can get a lot of spam, but using Meta ads just for retargeting, so only showing your ads on Meta to people that you know have been onto your website, that is a must do for any B2B brand, in my opinion. And sure, maybe people don't click on it, fill out the form for you to attribute that lead. A lot of people don't buy in that way. A lot of people see ads, they read ads, but don't actually click on them. But I know that it's helping from a brand awareness point of view, and I know it's helping for that whole demand generation mindset, because I'm speaking to real people, having real sales calls, and they're telling me that. If most of the people that I sign up as clients are saying, I've seen you on Meta, I know it's working. So I'd say when you're doing retargeting ads, definitely use Meta or have a go with it and look at your overall business growth and the conversations that you're having in sales. Don't just think about direct attribution. So that is my second main reason why we've scaled to 100k MRR is retargeting ads. The third thing is my newsletter. I think next time I do one of these podcasts and we've just reached 200k MRR, I'd like to say that this podcast has been a real attributor for that. But this podcast is pretty new, but only on episode 11, I think. So I'm not sure how much of an impact it's had yet. Probably not a lot just yet. However, my newsletter has been running for 66 weeks. And that has definitely had a big, big impact. A lot of the sales conversations that I had, people referenced the newsletter. In fact, we did some data reporting. 73% of the sales that we make are already subscribed to our newsletter. We put a lot of work into our newsletter over the last few years. One of the best things that I did was I stopped calling it the Rocket SaaS newsletter. That comes across as quite salesy when you have a newsletter that is literally branded with your company name. People think you're just going to spam them and sell them and give them boring company updates. Whereas what we did is we created a separate brand for our newsletter. We called it SaaS Marketing Weekly, and we made it like 100% educational. You're going to get free SaaS marketing tips in your inbox every Thursday. No catch, no selling. You're just going to get free advice. So I write that newsletter personally. I try and write it every Sunday night with a glass of wine. I don't farm it out to a copywriter or someone else on my team. It comes from me, so it's full of thought leadership. And I just try to think about something that I've learned this week, maybe a problem that my clients had and overcome, or maybe a campaign idea, or some quick tip I can give to somebody, or an amazing result I've had for a client, and we can write that and turn that into a newsletter to help other people achieve the same results. And we've got really good engagement from that over the last year and a half or so that it's been running. It's just another touch point, another way for people to get to know our brand, get to know my expertise. Again, giving them that demand generation, free tips and education. And also, it's a really powerful way to create repurposed content. So if I write an email newsletter that's between 500 and 1,000 words, that can very easily be turned into a blog and multiple LinkedIn posts and a video. A lot of my podcast episodes started as an email newsletter. So when I record the podcast, I've got the email newsletter in front of me. I'm reading a sentence and I'm just expanding with my own words. So it's a great way to create content as opposed to starting with a blank canvas every time. You create one piece of content like a newsletter and then let it spin out into various other pieces of marketing content. So yeah, the newsletter has been a great way to get our content in front of our prospects every single Thursday with tips and advice that they really admire. So they think, when I'm ready, I'm going to speak to Ryan and Rocket SaaS, where I'm going to work with them. And then also great way of spinning out content. The fourth one is customer service. Because scaling a business is two main things. One is lead gen. So the previous 3 points I've mentioned have all mainly been around lead gen. But then the other thing is churn. You have to keep churn down if you're going to grow. And there's two main areas that you need to work on to reduce churn. One is the performance. Are your customers getting an ROI? Or are they happy with the services that you're providing? And then the other is customer service. Results-wise for Rocket SaaS, we're getting better and better each month. We've got a really amazing performance team, amazing content team. And we're constantly tweaking that to try and make that even better for every client that we take on. So that's kind of embedded into what we do. But sometimes the customer service side of things can be overlooked, but it's super, super important. Because even if you're not getting great results for your clients yet, if you've got incredible customer service and you're keeping them happy, you're building a rapport, you're showing them the progress that you're making towards those goals, they're going to stay with you for longer. So we've worked really hard to listen to our customers in terms of what they want. So we've improved our communication, been much more active in Slack channels to keep them up to date. We've really worked hard on our reporting. Our reporting used to be pretty minor. We've now got these really detailed Google Doc reports and spreadsheets that tell clients exactly what we've worked on this period, what their results are, what the trajectory is looking like. We've cut our churn massively since last year, and that has been integral to hitting this 100k MRR mark. So that's it, customer service number 4. And then finally, the fifth reason as to why Rocket SaaS have scaled to 100k MRR is by hiring an amazing team. So when you're starting out with your own business, whether it's you on your own or a couple of co-founders, maybe a few developers, you are not going to scale to 100k MRR unless you grow the team. You need to hire great people, and great people don't always cost a lot. They can be great people for a relatively low salary, but you need to train them up. You need to really take care of company culture, and also creating processes has been an amazing thing for Rocket SaaS. So I'll start with processes. What happens when you're small, when there's like between 1 and 5 of you? When you take on a new client, you can kind of wing it. You can say, right, let's go through the usual onboarding procedure. Or when some kind of an issue crops up, you're like, okay, let's just like chat about how we're going to resolve this. You can't really scale to 100k MRR unless you've got processes in place that are going to predict these things and give you exact set workflows for you to work through. So we've created a ton of what we call SOPs, standard operating procedures. So there's a different SOP for onboarding a client, setting up LinkedIn ads, setting up Google ads, writing blogs, email newsletters, creating a lead magnet campaign, creating webinars. Everything that we do, there is an SOP, which is a Google document outlining the steps of exactly what you do, and then like a fork flow diagram of what you should do if you come across this particular issue or this particular question. Then there's a Loom video of someone in the company performing that task. And that unlocks massive scalability. So when somebody joins the company as a new employee, we can give them the SOPs. So rather than them saying, oh, I've got to do a webinar for someone, like, how do I go about that? Can I jump on a call with someone, please? We say, just check the SOP, go through that, and they'll know exactly what to do. Obviously, there should be training too, which is another element, but it's creating the SOPs and the processes that really allowed us to grow, because it just took so much time off of my hands. Fewer questions, fewer meetings with my team, having to explain things and train them and correct the mistakes that they've made, because it's all been documented about all the flows that we do. And then the other thing is culture. So we at Rocket SaaS, we hire culturally first. When we're interviewing people, you may be really competent at your job, but if you don't come across like a nice person, if you don't come across like you're going to fit in with the team, then you're not going to get a job. Because if you don't hire culturally, that's going to cause you problems down the line. If people don't like working with each other, they're going to leave. If there's conflict in the team, people are going to leave. It's going to cause you a ton of stress. And when you're stressed and people start leaving, that's just more problems. So here at Rocket SaaS, as we've grown the team, I've tried to be a really good judge of character, tried to have good foresight as to, will this person fit in with the team? Will this person enjoy working with other people on the team, and vice versa? And what's also great about having a strong company culture is people will stay with you for longer, even though they might be able to earn more money somewhere else, because they're happy and they're content and they enjoy working with the company and are not constantly looking for a new job elsewhere. So strong company culture can actually save you a fortune in salaries, and the headache of having someone leave and replace them and train them and all of those things, which has a huge effect and a cost on any business. So we've really focused hard on company culture, and we've got an amazing team that work really hard. Their output is incredible, and they're a great group of people to work with. They have a lot of fun working together. So I wouldn't have been able to scale to 100K MRR if it wasn't for the incredible team. So a huge thank you to any of the team if you're listening. So that's about it. It's a quick recap: how Rocket SaaS scaled to 100K MRR, demand generation, content marketing, retargeting ads, email newsletter, amazing customer service, and having an incredible team. Those are the top 5 things that I'd recommend about how to scale your business from 0 to 100. But the big one is demand gen. If you want to learn more about demand gen, if you're interested in hiring Rocket SaaS to become your demand gen agency, go onto our website, rocket-saas.io. You can book a free strategy call with me. I'd love to hear more about your business. I'd love to talk about how we can support you in your marketing growth. So book that call, and then we can work on a proposal to working together. Although our pricing is on our website, we're very transparent with that. But anyway, I'll leave that with you. Have a great rest of the day, whatever you're doing, and I'll catch you next week.